Today we're going to take a closer look at AMD. In the past 24 hours, there have been some cool updates for this company. One taking a closer look at their consumer solutions and the other taking a closer look at some other data center solutions. So let's get started. Just a quick look at stock price for those not familiar right now. It seems to be a pretty red day just for the overall market. We can see AMD is down roughly 2.3% at the moment. I mean, we can see from 5-day high, the stock is down roughly 11%, and I'm pretty sure most tech companies are feeling the same pain with the overall kind of macroeconomic fears we continue to hear about.
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
So today, August 30th, AMD announced something cool with the recent acquisition. So for those that are not familiar, AMD about a few months ago purchased a company called Pensando. So Pensando was a small kind of semiconductor company that produces DPUs. So this is just another chips, right? There's CPUs, there's GPUs, there's DPUs, there's TPUs, and the list goes on and on. So these DPUs have a kind of purpose in data center solutions, and AMD just wants to continue to grow their overall solutions in that market. So today they announced that this data processing unit, the DPU, will be one of the first DPU solutions to support VMware vSphere 8. So for those that are not familiar, this is kind of a software and hardware solutions that can help customers reduce operational costs by unifying workload management, improving performance by freeing up CPU resources. So right now we all know that AMD kind of creates the AMD EPYC, which are the CPU processors for servers. These CPUs tend to do certain tasks. So what this hardware and software solution does is, hey, maybe the CPU is doing some tasks that maybe the DPU can do a little bit better. Now the DPU is going to do those tasks instead of the CPU, reducing the amount of workload on the CPU, increasing its efficiency, probably making it faster because it has to do less things. It's also making it more power efficiency because it has to do less things. And it's also allowing or open up resources so it can do more tasks that can make more money for data centers. So this is a huge win for data centers in general. It's also kind of showing the kind of strength of this kind of acquisition and all these acquisitions that AMD has done in the past year or so. They do mention that AMD's Pensando DPU is shipping today based on a 7nm processor, and they say it is at least one generation ahead of any other DPU on the market, as the closest competitor is still based on a 16nm process. Now I want to take a closer look at a presentation they had yesterday, which is more on the consumer space. But if you are enjoying this episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up, as it does help me grow my overall audience. And if you want to support a little bit more, make sure to subscribe using my link at fool.com/Jose. So yesterday on August 29th, AMD revealed their new Ryzen 7000 series desktop processors. This is going to be powered by their new architecture Zen 4, and this does seem like the consumer world to some extent is pretty excited. The 7000 series will actually be the first 5nm desktop PC processor at the moment right now, and it's going to be developed obviously by TSMC's process node. For those not familiar, one of the major reasons the first generation of Ryzen had huge success was because it did kind of enter the, I want to say, more consumer economic friendly market. And let me explain why. So normally when you buy an Intel CPU, you would have to buy a new motherboard that would kind of work with that CPU. And usually when a new generation of CPUs would come out, you would have to buy a new motherboard. So it would get very expensive for the consumer market. AMD, when they first released their Ryzen first generation, they mentioned that, hey, for the next few generations, we're not going to need you to upgrade your motherboard if you want to upgrade to the next generation. And that drove a lot of people, right? Because now they no longer had to purchase a new motherboard every time they got a new processor. Reduced the amount of building a PC dramatically. So that's one of the reasons the consumer market was really excited about AMD. So only until now with the Ryzen 7000 series are they starting a new socket, so new motherboards will be needed. And this kind of strength that they brought in their first generation all the way to the 5000 series is going to continue. They mentioned that this new socket will support all the way through 2025. So this is pretty much saying, hey, for at least the next 2 generations that we are going to create, you are not going to have to worry about purchasing a new motherboard. So they do mention that the Ryzen 7000 series CPUs are going to start selling on September 27th, so about a month from now, and they did give the prices. I do want to say one of the fears right now is the consumer ready for new processing at the moment, or since we have fears that consumer spending is decreasing, is it actually going to be a bad time to release new products, especially for the kind of consumer electronic market? Unfortunately, I think it's too early to tell, but AMD does feel confident that there is still strong demand for their products. Another good news I want to say is Intel, their biggest competitor, has not released a new generation CPU yet, but they are expected to announce their new Raptor Lake CPU on September 27th to September 28th. So right now there are rumors that even though they are going to announce it in late September, they probably won't release it till mid or end October. So it does seem for about a month AMD is going to be kind of competition free. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm super excited for AMD. I do believe in the short term of things there are going to be a lot of pains, mainly from the consumer market, but we are still seeing that this is a company that continues to innovate both in data centers and in consumer solutions. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.